Breaking news. Renowned Managing Director Mr. Rafiq from Bloom Healthcare Group will be interviewed on the topic of leadership later today.
Is he the director we would like to interview today?
Yes.
Oh, is it today?
Yes.
Thanks to me.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is truly an honor to welcome Mr. Ahmad Rafiq bin Mat Zahid, Managing Director of Bloom Healthcare Group Sdn Bhd, who is with us today. First and foremost, we are sincerely appreciate Mr. Ahmad Rafiq for accepting our invitation and sharing your invaluable insight on talent development and leadership in healthcare. With your vast experience and strategic perspective, we're looking forward to gain deeper insight into the evolving healthcare landscape and the vital role of leadership in shaping both today and future workforce. Before we start, I'd like to introduce my team members who are with us today, Ms. Cherry and Mr. Tan. So now, without further ado, let's proceed with the sharing.
Okay.
Mr. Rafiq, the healthcare industry is facing a striking talent pool due to the aging workforce and fewer young professionals enter the field. So how has Bloom Healthcare Group adapted his recruitment strategy to address this challenge?
Okay. Thank you very much, Chloe, for the question. So I think in relation to your question about the aging talent force and also the challenges of recruiting newer generation people as well. Yeah, I think it's something that the industry is facing. And it's something that as a group, for our group itself, we have to manage in terms of expectations, in terms of what can the existing talent pool itself provide to you, and also what can we do then also in terms of recruiting the newer talents as well, because I think the newer talents, as I was telling you earlier as well, Chloe, new generation people, they have different expectations, they have different wants and needs in life, and versus the existing talent pool of doctors or medical professionals which have a different mindset. So I think the older generation, or at least our generation, which I consider it, we have a mindset that we typically work in the same place for a very long period of time. I think there is a certain level of higher level of loyalty, and also a bit more level of patience and persistence for people who are generally the older generation. Whereas the newer generations, I think typically would want to look at objectives like and achieve it faster, and sometimes they are not willing to put in the time and effort. I think they want early gratification. They want to say, "Oh, thank you very much," everything earlier. And I think with that, I think comes challenges for a group, especially a group that wants to grow. If you want to grow, you need more manpower, you need more talents, and when you want to do that, you have to understand that the newer pool of people are like this, and you must actually adjust your organizations to accommodate to these new requirements. And I think those organizations which do not adjust will find themselves having difficulties in attracting talent, and then they will fall behind. So I think for our side and our group, we try to understand those requirements, and we would then try to accommodate. Yeah, it's not easy. I think it's something like a learning process. I think you need to get constant feedback from the newer generation, these healthcare professionals, and yeah, make do with it lah. So I think that's basically how we look at it. I think must be open-minded. I think at the end of the day, the management must be open-minded to these new changes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Given the increasing competition for skilled healthcare professional, what strategy have you found most effective in retaining the talent?
Yeah. Okay. So I think in healthcare industry, I think also in any other type of industries itself, retaining talent is becoming more and more difficult. It's also one thing to understand is that everybody has different wants and needs, and some people prefer outright payments or outright salary increase or whatever not. Some prefer work-life balance. So actually, some people may not want to work 5 days a week, or some people want to have the option of working from home certain days of the week. That is also something that is nowadays a new trend, which I think the new generations are more preferred or preferring these things. Of course, there are some type of healthcare professionals that actually want, aside from monetary compensation and also this flexibility of work, they also sometimes want something like a share of equity ownership lah. So I think the important thing is actually to talk to the respective people, understand exactly what they want in life first. Once you understand what they want in life, then I think you're able to then uh, able to segmentize which bucket or which category this person is at. Then, if possible, you try to accommodate that. Of course, not every single person that, let's say, I want equity in a company. You can't give everybody equity in a company. Likewise, if everybody wants an increase in salary, you can't also just increase everybody's salary. So you have to try to find a way that, for your organization, whether it's able to then accommodate to these needs lah. So then I think there are some situations where, yeah, an individual would like to have that work-life balance, or a very high increase in salary, or unreasonable amount of equity. And if they want something like that and you're not able to accommodate that, then of course there is the risk of that person leaving lah. And as an organization, you have to be aware that these are all the possible scenarios. So the question is, how important is that person, and how important is retaining that person to the group and his goal to achieve his targets lah. Yeah. So I think, I think it's essentially like that.
Okay, thank you, Rafiq, for your insightful sharing on the Bloom Healthcare recruitment and retention strategy.
Good morning to you, Mr. Rafiq. Thank you for your sharing just now. So my question is about the role of AI and automation in talent development. So with the generative AI transforming recruitment and skill requirement, can you share us how Bloom Healthcare integrate technology into talent development and workforce planning?
Yeah, good question, Mr. Tan. I think in terms of AI, I think everybody is talking about it. It's the latest buzzwords now. And I think it's something that in healthcare and also in other organizations as well, other industries, I think it's important for us to understand what exactly those latest developments are, and understand what value add does those AI or other form of technology that have developed along the way, what does it actually bring to the table. Also understanding the cost that is required to implement those things as well. And at the same time, understanding that if we were to implement those AI technologies, how would the customers or the patients or even the manpower on our side react towards such implementation. So I think there are many types of AI or technology developments within healthcare itself. So I think even in terms of our business in the dental space, we have, like, for example, X-ray scanning of a patient's mouth, right? I think there are applications of AI there which allow the dentist or the doctor to use such application to be able to detect any abnormalities or any issues within the patient's teeth. They can be able to respond faster. So I think those things are very valuable for dentists. It saves a lot of time for them rather than going through those things manually. I think that is a very useful tool and technique. So I think the next part is also talking about the cost lah. So I think whether or not the cost is prohibitive or not, expensive, if it's too expensive, it may not be applicable. So I think but I think in general for that is something that we look towards implementing lah. Of course, I think in terms of other types of AI or new technology is also, we talk about like chatbots. So chatbots in terms of like customers replying inquiries or sending inquiries to us online by social media and so on. So I think there are some type of AI nowadays or technology that allows these things to be replied by computer or robot lah, or whatever you call it. So this actually saves a lot of time for our customer service side, right? When we are able to apply this, then the next part is we are able to save a lot of time for the customer service to focus on after the conversion is higher lah, or the serious level intention for the patient or customers is higher. The next part is of course the concern lah. So the concern, let's say for example, in terms of those chatbots, sometimes for patients or customers, they may want a more personalized or talking to a human. So that element is also very important, especially in like dental world. So like patients nowadays still want to talk to someone, and like they want to like, oh, I have this that, and all. You want to have that kind of human touch lah. So I think for now we have not adopted those technology yet. So I think it's about timing, or maybe it's maybe waiting for the time where AI or technology can become a bit more personalized and then more human-like, then it's possible. So I think you have to strike a balance. I think at the end of the day, sometimes a lot of people would like to see all this new technology and say, oh, shiny thing, I want to implement it. But sometimes you have to think about it, take a step back, and look at it from the perspective of, is it something that we can adopt at this moment or not yet? I think, yeah, but definitely exciting things happening now, especially with the latest developments in the world. We will continuously monitor lah. So I think as an organization, you must always um, be proactive lah on that part. Yeah.
Wow, it's very good insight and very valuable points. So it's good to hear that Bloom Healthcare actually is committed to involve into AI advancement. It's really like what you said, chatbots to enhance your workforce planning and your customer service. It's good to hear that. So let's explore another key area, such as which is leadership development and the impact on patient care. Can you share on an example where strong leadership at Bloom Healthcare is significantly improved as operational efficiency or the patient care quality? Okay.
Yeah, so I think for Bloom Healthcare, I think for us as a young organization with I think our management pool level also comprises of a management team of young people as well. We are more forward looking. I think we are more open to investing in technologies, investing in training for our healthcare professionals, and we understand the importance of that in terms of how it can add value to patients lah. So I think, for example, I give a case or situation that we talk about like training and so on. And in our dental group at the moment, we have about 17 clinics, dental clinics that have already opened lah in Klang Valley. And naturally, when we have dental clinics here, you provide your bread and butter dental services. But what we want to do is as well is provide other value add services like training our dentists and upskilling them. So we have this type of product that everybody is taking nowadays, which is the clear aligners, which is like Invisalign and so on.
Yeah.
So I think currently most organizations, you have one dentist or two dentists that are trained to do the Invisalign, and normally they do it at their own cost. But for us as leaders, we take one step ahead and we take an investment and we select more doctors, dentists in our group and send them for the training. And they became Invisalign certified providers. So then when we are able to do that, we are then able to offer Invisalign services across more branches in our clinics, in our group. So when we do that, then actually patients are able to then have more options for dentists to choose from. And then also, of course, Invisalign in the market is deemed as one of the better options for patients, as opposed to like metal braces and all. Some this is an option. So it costs a bit of money upfront, but then at the end of the day, you will reap the rewards in terms of better patient care lah. I think that's one of the things lah. And then also in terms of equipments as well, a lot of dental clinics at the moment, if you see the traditional old school mom and pop dental clinics, or even the bigger chains but run by older groups, their mindset is a bit different in terms of like they don't invest a lot in the equipment in their branches. So when you don't have those equipments, like simple things like X-ray and so on, for patient then come to the clinic and then they say, oh, you have to do your X-ray in another clinic. So it's very troublesome for the patient. But for us, we are forward-looking. All our branches, we invest in the latest equipments. I mean, at least the basic equipments must be there lah. So I think that makes a big difference in terms of quality of patient care. I mean, imagine if you're a bit older patient, you come here and then they ask you to go somewhere else. It's a bit troublesome lah. Yeah. So I think that all of this, dentists will be happy. Dentists will retain the patient. Chances of them retaining patient is higher. They will probably be more willing to provide better quality service, and patient also happy lah at the end of the day. And ultimately, if patient happy, they come more often, and we also make money lah. Yeah. So I think leadership quality is something, or leadership strength is required for this kind of direction or vision lah.
So what leadership strength do you believe is the most critical in healthcare professional?
I think in healthcare itself, or even actually in other industries, I don't think it's just applicable to healthcare lah. I think at the end of the day, as a leader, you must have a vision. You must have a vision. You must have a like a direction. Okay, where do I see myself, or where do I see the group within 3 to 4 to 5 years or 7 years? And you have a vision. You must then develop a roadmap to how to achieve it. And if you can achieve it, you must have like meaningful targets or steps lah to take it. So I think if you don't have the vision, then I think as a leader, then there's no point lah. Yeah. So I think the most important thing is the vision itself. Developing a vision. It could be right, it could be wrong. Doesn't mean that your vision is right lah. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you must have a stance on something. Yeah.
So I agree with you, Mr. Rafiq. Leader must have a vision and also the roadmap. They need to know what they do next.
Yep.
So a great leader just isn't about the expertise. They must also need to inspire, like what you inspire, empower your teams, and drive innovation, like you're going to input AI in your work planning. So thanks for your input.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Rafiq. So thanks you for some of the sharing. So let's go to explore another key area on generation gap and succession planning. So with the senior professional retiring, so how is Bloomcare Healthcare to ensuring a smooth transition of the leadership to the next generation?
Okay, a good question, Ms. Sherry. So I think one of the most important things also in healthcare, because there's a high reliance on professionals or healthcare professionals, is talent lah. So people normally go to clinics or healthcare centers or whatever not, mainly looking for the specific individual professional. And of course, over time, they become more popular as they grow older, as they build their pool of patients and so on. So when that happens, naturally also you grow older lah. So as you grow older, then I think there comes the risk about the key management or key man risk. So I think this is something that I think for a healthcare organization, we must always plan ahead of time. What we do is, I think, develop a plan whereby we get a younger pool of doctors to come into the group. They have to go through the whole motion of learning the basics and all the way to up, and then of course you must provide them training along the way. Like I mentioned earlier, like upskilling them to provide them like courses and so on. I think when we do that, then they become more and more skillful. And at the same time, I think we have to provide knowledge sharing sessions, some form of mentoring between the younger professionals and the elder professionals. So I think having the open communication is very important. I think also the other part is sometimes people are very scared of letting go, like especially the older doctors are of letting go and slowing down and so on. So I think that the key thing is also upfront managing that communications with those individuals. It's not easy. It's not easy. It may or may not work. But I think as a company, you must always try to develop those plans, succession plans in place. And I think also mitigating risk is another way. Is like trying to make sure that your business is not just concentrated on one doctor. So you must have other, like for example, if you only have one outlet and that one outlet is contributing 70-80% of your sales, you must look at maybe having additional outlets and having other doctors then running those things. So then the concentration risk is a bit different Yeah. So I think that's one of those important things And I think it can be managed. It's with careful planning careful planning. And I think that requires the input from the doctor, the senior doctor, the junior doctor, or the senior professional and the junior professional, the management and the HR part as well. So I think all in all.
I see. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rafiq. So for the next question is like, how do you identify the high potential employee who is suitable for a leadership development?
Yeah. So this is a question that I think is subjective if you ask me. It is again based on like if you're the management or if you're the senior professional in the group. I think it is about your judgment skills. And the judgment skills is subjective. It's based on, let's say, for example, in my case, it's based on the number of years of my experience as working before, and then seeing, okay, how people react and how people respond to things in challenges and so on. And when you have those experiences, you form an opinion lah when you see other people. So when you see those other people, you try to ask questions and probe and understand their whole life story or whatever not lah. And then when you do that, then you can try to see, okay, maybe this person is suitable or not suitable. And normally you aim to give them a bit of leadership roles, small bit by small bit, and then see whether they're able to then take on extra roles and responsibilities. It's not 100% correct lah. I would say sometimes the persons that you think are able to do those roles end up not being able to do it. Sometimes the people that you don't think can do it actually can do it. But the important thing is to keep an eye open and also keep an open mind lah. Keep an open mind, I think, on that. And at the end of the day, for that part, I think everybody has their own judgment lah on that. Yeah. But again, I think come back to the question about leadership and so on. I think as a leader, you also have to make a decision and stick with it lah. Yeah. So I think that's.
Thank you, Mr. Rafi. So let's explore to another key area. So on future leadership and talent development in the healthcare. So on giving like rapid change in the healthcare landscape. So what do you think that the future leadership healthcare look like?
So I think the in the healthcare landscape is constantly changing and evolving. Again, I think it's about being dynamic lah. I think what people think about in terms of healthcare talents and management and so on 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's now totally different now. Yeah. So and I myself am not a healthcare professional, so I think that gives me a different perspective as well. I think must be willing to be open. You have to talk to people in the industry constantly, because I think knowledge-wise, whatever you think you know is not enough. So what we do at Bloom is we always open to listening to other ways of leadership and whatnot, or even other ways of running an operations. So we talk to people from different industries, different categories within the healthcare space, and if there are best practices there, we try to adopt on lah, and see how it goes lah. Yeah. So I think that's something that is important, because sometimes some industries, some sectors, some categories will pick up faster than others. Yeah. So then you see how they have done it, and then say, oh, okay, maybe we should try it over here lah. Yeah. So I think that part is important. If you just stay stagnant and say, no, I've run this the way I've run it for 40 years, 30 years, it should work now. And then you're like running a dying or dinosaur organization lah. Yeah. So when changes happen, you're immobile, and then so far I've not seen such organizations survive lah. I think normally we see them deteriorating over time. So I think being open very important lah.
Thank you for sharing that. Our last question is, what advice would you give to young professionals who's inspired to take on leadership in the healthcare sector?
I think for this part, I think it's something that's close to my heart, because I was put into the role of management in healthcare at a pretty young age. So I think when I joined another group doing healthcare, I think I was only 30, 31, 30, at the age of 30, 31. And I think same advice I would give when for the earlier question, I think you must be open-minded is one. I think you must be humble. So there are a lot of people in the industry or even in the management team, they could be from HR, finance, they could be from nursing side, they could be from cleaner, they could be customer service. You actually have to spend a lot of time talking to them, because actually they know different aspects of the business and can make a big difference. I think that's my opinion, because as a management, if you come in as a young person doing management role, you may think that, oh, you're superior than others. But actually, the key success factor in healthcare business is the people. And customers or patients that come to your place is because they have some form of drive to connect to you. And to do that is a very powerful thing. And I think to get that is you have to get the secret sauce correct lah. So once you get the secret sauce correct, it can be replicated across and you can expand. And so when you do that, that's how you become a very successful organization lah. So I think at the end of the day, coming back is be humble, listen to others. After you listen to others and all that, and have an inquisitive mind, must learn, must read a lot of what was happening in the industry, whatever. After you have that, you put all that into one thing, then you can form a decision and make decisions. Because if you don't have enough knowledge or don't have enough info, enough data, we talk about AI also same thing, it's all about data. Don't have enough data, then how are you going to make an informed decision? Yeah. So again, as a leader, you 100% of the, you don't make correct decision 100% of the time. So your point is trying to make calculated decisions and informed decisions lah. So even if touch wood anything goes wrong, you already know it was with the basis that or this is the basis that I had. So young people, I think nowadays must have those mindset to be able to be successful lah in this industry. And actually, again, same thing is applicable across all industries. Yeah, in those management roles.
Mr. Rafiq, thank you for your sharing and the conclusion, especially on the advice to the young professional on how they're going to enroll to the next leadership role, especially in this evolving industrial and dynamic era. So as our sections as we have come to the end section, on behalf of University Utara Malaysia, we'd like to extend our deepest gratitude to Mr. Ahmad Rafiq for sharing your valuable insight on talent development and the leadership pipeline. So to express our sincere appreciation, we'd like to present our pledge of appreciation to Mr. Ahmad Rafiq as a token of gratitude for your time, knowledge, and dedication in guiding the future's leader. So once again, thank you, Mr. Rafiq. So we're looking forward to see Bloom Healthcare continue to grow under your leadership.
Thank you very much.